How's it going, reverse engineers? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to continue working on the Subaru that's right behind me. We're going to have to take the engine and transmission out to get better access to the damaged area, which is mainly here on this driver's side frame rail. And then we're going to install the frame machine and start pulling on it and see where we go from there. Let's get going.
Before we start the video, guys, we got some bad news. Last night someone broke into our garage and went ahead and stole all of our power tools from Milwaukee.
If you recall from our videos, we had a bunch of drills, impact guns, heat gun, and a lot of other stuff.
Funny thing is, even that sticker there shows Milwaukee stuff. I just noticed that.
We had exactly those two somewhere. Those are gone now.
Yeah,
those.
3 chargers, 2 of these, and other drills.
We also had a bag of batteries over here on the ground somewhere.
More than 10.
More than 10 batteries at least. Gone in one shot. We got some of his footprints over here on this back cover from the Subaru.
The cover is literally going right here, right in front of you.
Looks like he was wearing boots right here.
Yeah, sure.
He also took our, excuse the mess. At this point, we're just a little bit saddened, to be honest. At this point, there was like 3 or 4 chargers, 2 or 3 for Milwaukee's,
So they were placed
and
these.
one DeWalt.
So this was placed like this, and he managed to rip this off. I don't know how he did that with no noise in the middle of the night. He took them all.
Yeah, one of the chargers were placed on this 2x6 or whatever this is.
No, there were 2 of them. The DeWalt one was here. The Milwaukee one was here, and then we also had another one here, and another one at the bottom. They're all gone. Surprisingly, he did leave some stuff.
So yeah, you can see how this piece is broken over here. This was a full piece.
Still have the screws here in the place. This side and also this side here.
Here's this piece from the wood
2x4, yeah.
2x6.
Whatever this is.
Yeah.
He took a bunch of stuff, impact drills, like I said, a Dremel, miter saw, skill saw. What else did he take?
We did have some tools in the sprinter, so he also had access there. It was open in the back, so.
Sawzall, a little one, 2 of them, a big one. What else? Miter saw that we already talked about, and a bag of batteries. They were all good whatsoever. They were all good. They would last for hours if you charge them. We had a supercharger that would have charged the batteries really quick. That's gone. What else, man? We had a little snap-on chair.
Yeah, it's gone.
We had a little snap-on chair. Sometimes you might have seen it in other videos.
Yeah.
That one's gone too. Took about $1,500 to $2,000 worth of tools.
Even more, like 3,000 bucks.
At the end of the day, at least it's just tools. We can always replace them. Even though these people are disgusting, the scum of the earth.
Yeah.
Everybody hates these type of people. But we'll take this as a lesson learned. Maybe put some cameras around the perimeter, lock the doors better locks and everything. But at least we got all the goodies here still. I guess we can lock those 2 now. They got locks and keys. Lesson learned.
We also realized that our soldering gun or soldering tool that was placed over here was gone. The guy grabbed these.
Seems like he placed them out here.
Placed them on the engine. I'm sure that if we weren't home or anything, he would have tried to steal the engine as well.
The BRZ one
Yeah,
here.
these people.
I'm sure there's more stuff we have that is gone, but maybe we don't realize now, but we will realize later. Maybe when we work on a car or something.
For sure.
He didn't take anything off our priceless wall of cars we worked on.
Yeah.
You know what it is.
First things first, we're taking off the engine. You always have to disconnect all of these wires and everything that comes off the sides onto the engine. Like this wire goes to this alternator and something else over here. I'm not gonna remove it with the fuse box over here because it's easier to just take off a couple of wires. It's just the alternator. Gonna put that to the side. And then you've got some AC pipes, coolant pipes over here. Then also the engine mount, both left and right. I think I might have to drop it with the cradle and then remove it that way, or drop the cradle, take the engine mounts off, and the engine up, and the cradle stays down there, because you can't move it up because of this bar here. It doesn't come out front with the cradle, so the engine mounts needs to go off, as well as the exhaust that connects to the engine somewhere underneath. And the third and final engine mount is a transmission mount that's usually all the way back down there. It's gonna be a bit of work, but that's what has to get done to get access to this damaged frame rail. Before I go ahead and move in the engine hoist, I'm just going to dismantle everything like I said, so I have more room and underneath as well, before I put it, install it, and pull up the engine a little bit. Okay, so I've pretty much removed everything that was on top that's connecting from the chassis to the engine. All of these wires go along the engine itself, as well as these hoses and the ECU and this hose, all connected to the car. I went ahead and removed this slave cylinder, I believe it's called. When you push in the clutch, this engages. It pushes the clutch out over here. I'm gonna have to leave a note in the car or something to make sure nobody presses the clutch while this is not on there. Over here, goes right here on these two screws, so it doesn't blow or get broken. I'm not sure if that's gonna happen, but we don't want to take any risks. That's pretty much it for the top of the engine. Now I'm gonna go under and start removing things like the shaft, things like the steering column that connects from the steering wheel to the pinion rack. I'm pretty sure that might have to come down as well. Okay, so now we're underneath the Subaru. As you can see, I took a bunch of stuff off. The control arms still need to come down, so the cradle can go down on both sides. Over here in the back, the drive shaft will come down as basically it comes out as the transmission comes forward with the engine. Also from the interior, all the shift linkages up there need to come down. The transmission will come down and then out, so it clears that room. The middle of the drive shaft will have to get unscrewed, so it has room to come down with the linkages up there, and then it can move straight out. Pretty much that's all that's left to do, and this engine and transmission is ready to come down and out of the chassis. So the engine and transmission are almost ready to come out. We took off the drive shaft and some more of the exhaust. Over here, that's the exhaust, the drive shaft over there. And we've looked online to see how the transmission is, to see if we need to open up from the center console inside. And this is how the transmission looks. We're gonna have to open up here so the shifter goes down with the transmission. unlike the S4, where you can see the linkages and disconnect them, and you don't need to open the interior. This one needs to come down with the shifter as well. So we're gonna have to open up from the interior and drop everything down, the engine, transmission, and the cradle. We're also going to need to remove the control arms on both sides, so it comes down no problem. And we're almost ready to pretty much lower it down.
And the only reason why we're not taking only the engines out is because it's a lot easier to take the transmission and the engine out at the same time.
Yeah, because that way you would have to unmarry the transmission from the engine, take off the bolts, which are pretty hard to reach, so might as well do the whole thing at once. Easier and faster. Now let's get going on the interior and take off that shifter. So I hope we don't need to remove the whole center console here. We can just remove this and see how it is first. Probably gonna have to take this off. Okay, so it looks like the boot can come off. Probably has some screws around here. I was looking underneath and it looked like it had something coming from this way downwards. Yeah, we've got, I think, 4 12 millimeters.
Now check out this apron on passenger side compared to this other side here. All we have to do is pull it down, straighten it toward us or pull it towards us again, then chop it, weld in the new one, and go from there. So we just saw one of these engine support brackets for removal of the engine on here in the back, but right there in the front is none, so we made our own thing. I know it's gonna work. All we have to do, get a screw in there, use it with that chain, use it with the chain, and go from there. That is it. This is how our rig looks, all tensioned up. The engine is ready to go. We're gonna drop it and pull it from underneath, because here in the front there's not much room to pull it this way, so we're gonna go that way. Go down.
To fix an engine, well, not an engine, to fix the car, one must first drop the engine and then become the engine and the transmission.
So does that make 1 horsepower or 1 manpower?
1 pony power.
You guys check that out. We do have the
Get out of here.
the door, the garage door power. It has half horsepower, actually 1/3 horsepower. How about you, Daniel? How much horsepower are you?
Probably 1 leg of a horse, half, I don't know.
Now check that out. We had to drop the engine down and raise the car in order to pull it from underneath, because there's no way to pull it from the top because of that damage right there. So anyway, we're gonna get it out and move from there. Look at that. We probably had to raise the entire car 2 feet down from the ground, but it works. Looks pretty insane, huh? Looks crazy. I hope we don't have to do this again, but
If you ever
that's
have
what
to-
we said last time.
If you ever have to work on the coils, you're out of luck. Gonna cut the frame out. It's gonna be faster to cut it. Well, probably gonna have to drop it just to get to the spark plugs and coils.
It looks pretty crazy how we lifted the car and lift the engine down to the ground. This is what kind of they do when they mount the cars together.
If we had a lift, this would have been much quicker.
Drop the engine, lift the car, and pull it out.
No.
Now check out that little transmission. Small, but a little long because of that shifter right there. Everything else looks good.
Small, but still has some power in it.
Yeah.
If the Audi gears were small, imagine this one.
No, the Audi was big.
So tiny.
That was 6 speed, right? Same as this.
Yes.
I feel like you can lift this in one person. One guy can lift this little trans. And one guy the whole engine. I'll pass.
2 guys, 3. 2 in the front, 1 in the back. We're good to go.
Okay, let's go ahead and
Okay, pull.
get out.
It's this tilting back.
Okay, watch out, Sam.
More like, can you do by your hand from the
That engine is gone. We took it out just in case because it was easy, honestly, because it was easier to work on the frame rail, and we have more room, a lot easier for us, like I said. Now it's time for us to install the frame machine. Sam is very excited about it.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited, guys. I can't wait to start the work on this BRZ.
Woo! Install the frame machine and start fixing it. Let's go, let's do that. We finally got the frame on. All the bolts are tight. Everything is ready to go. Now all we have to do is pull. Pull with the pull. Alright, most of the damage is out. Now we're gonna do the same thing as we did on the Mustang. We are going to go ahead and cut it here somewhere, and from the inside somewhere on over there. Probably both sides somewhere here and there. We'll see what we're gonna do. But so far it looks amazing. All we have to do is pull on this side a little more this way, and we should be there. I mean, we pulled it down a lot. We hit it like it always needs to be done. It needs to be hit on those, like hit with a hammer, pounded, so that vibration goes through all that area that was damaged. And then when you do that, it kind of releases the stress. The stress goes away, and you're good to go. The metal stays in where you actually pulled it, back to the original spot. So it looks good. What we have to do is chop that side off and probably put the engine back in. We'll see. We'll see, but so far it looks good.
As you saw, we took off the engine. Took a bit of work, but we got it done. After we got the windshield off, we noticed there's a lot more damage than we expected, and because of that we have to get a parts car, and we already have that in the back. We're gonna show it to you maybe next video or the next episode after that. We'll see. It's rear end damage. We have all the parts that we need. It would have been more expensive to buy everything individually for this car than to get a parts car, so we opted for the parts car. And with that, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe, comment down below, like this video, and follow us on Instagram at ReverseEngineered1. We'll catch you guys next time.